problem. Everything's back together. I thought I had fixed the leak here. The leak is either coming from the seal that mounts this onto the block, or it is the crank seal because it sucked the shredded belt down into the oil pan. So, got to pull all this off. Tired. So we got to drain the refrigerator. We got to drain the coolant, drain the oil, pull the oil pan, and disconnect the cooling lines from the exchanger here, the filter exchanger. And then pull the oil pan down and see what kind of goodies might be in there. Additionally, we've got to pull the balancer off, the balancer pulley, and see what the front seal looks like. That's probably going to have to be replaced. I've got one on order. It's going to get replaced if I have to pull the pulley off anyway. So that's getting replaced, and then it's going to need another cleaning because there is oil everywhere. Backed it out of the garage. Everything looked great. No leaks. Took it down the road. Within 10 minutes, it had pissed out all the oil. So I made it back with no oil pressure. Luckily, it wasn't that far. Hopefully, the crank bearings aren't scored. Alright, let's see if I can unscrew this little drain cap here. I'm going to have to grab a pair of pliers. Pop the tap off. Oh, it's already off. I got the line disconnected. And then we'll let that drain out. So after a bit of wiggling right here, I finally got the seal to come loose on this. You can see how that's set up. There's a sealing flange there. Now I'm going to try to do the same thing down here on the radiator and see if we can't get this hose out of the way. It was just stuck in place. Oops, don't want to crack it. There it goes. Now we have all this room. You take this line off. Actually, I don't have to take that line off. Well, actually, I might to get to this screw right here, because there's a screw right here I have to get to. It's just a worm clamp. Alright. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and take the air intake out. That just pops off. Take the snorkel off first. Come on, get out of there. Just plastic. Just cool. It's empty. It is. Get that out of the way. Then we have a band on this side And then there's one on the other side, holding both sides of the air intake on. Just need to loosen those up. And this just lifts off. With the rubber grommets holding it. Come on now. Well, let's pop this line out of the way right here first. Make it a little easier. Get that guy out of the way. Grab the front, pull it up. There we go. Now we need to disconnect this, that lock. Ring right there turns, a little gray thing. Turns one way or the other and locks it. Sometimes you have to use a little persuasion. Sometimes you can get it with your fingers. That one's tight, so. And there's just this off. Come on. Let go. Did I lock that? Was it already unlocked? And I forgot to lock it? Yep. I forgot to lock it. That's fine. Okay, now we need to take this Torx out. Right here. And then down there, the intake for the turbo, this cross pipe goes down to it, and on this plastic piece there is an accordion or a barbed rubber adapter that goes into it, and then that slides onto the metal intake hose on this side of the engine, and that just pulls off, and then we get the finagle it out of there. That's always fun. There's a rubber bushing in there, and don't forget this spacer with it. So this guy over here out of the way. First thing I would do is pop this side out off the main line down there. That's it. And we try to work it out. Got this coolant line is in the way. Pull it out of the way. There we go. And see, it fell out. So it's down there. It always falls off and gets caught. That's it right there. Don't lose this. This goes in here, and then the intake line goes into this. Stick it back on there. And that's got to get cleaned. It is covered in oil. First thing we'll do, I don't think we need to disconnect. We do need to take this manifold off to get to the screw right down here that helps hold this on. So that means we need to disconnect the throttle body from the main intake line right there. Coolant line. I'm just going to stick it back on there for now. This thing down out of the way. That's a PCV line, this one. You see we got one bolt head right here, and then nuts across the top. 6 11mm nuts and one 11mm bolt with washer, and it is loose. Let's see if I can't. Actually, you know what? I'm going to disconnect. It's going to be a little bit tricky getting it out of there. I'm going to disconnect this, pull it off of here so I'll have a little more room to manipulate this hose out of the way. And it has a twist lock. This one actually is in good shape. And it just loosens right up. Pop that out. And we can get that up out of the way. Come on. While this is off, I'm going to spray the intake runners and the head right there and treat them. If I can get it off all the way. Right there's in the way. Come on, come on up. What are you hitting? Oh, it's hitting that line right there. Get this shelf out of the way. Oh, I lost my hose clamp again. That right there needs to come off because it is in the way. Come on. Turn. There it goes. Okay. That's the other end of that same pipe. Now we got a little room. Just a little. Should be enough to clear it. And if you look down on the bottom, we have, oops, not down there, a bunch of stuff to disconnect. Starter. Actually, I should be able to just pop that off. Let me put that back on. Alright, so that just, part under there is just got tabs, that's all. The electrical box that's under it. There we go. That box has two flat slots, one there and one there, and this ear just slides over it. So that'll just slide and lay right there. Then we gotta try to disconnect the throttle body. If I can figure out which tab of what to push. Or is it a lift and pull? Man, this thing is nasty. Runners are oily. I also need to disconnect is a line connected to that. Well, we don't need to take it all the way off. You know what? I'm just gonna leave. I ain't messing with that right now. I'll mess around with getting that off in a little while. Let's go ahead and focus on getting this off. So we got all the coolant out. We have the coolant lines disconnected, but what we still have to do is drain the oil so we can take this off. Otherwise, every bit of the oil that's in this is going to run all over everything. Get all that oil. Oh, I got a mess to clean up. Alright, well, let's drain the oil pan. Let me see if I can set this camera up somehow. So all the undercovers are gone. There's supposed to be plastic covers covering all of this, and I mean there's a few things still under here. Actually, there's a couple of things I need to pull out of there. Drip tray. And the wheel liners, that's it. There's supposed to be a whole cover over that right there, but whatever. We need to get that drain plug out right there. Wow, there actually still is oil in there. Which means hopefully the pressure was okay and we still got oil to the bearings. But everything else down here is covered in old oil. And this oil looks pretty bad. Let's let that drain. I'm going to go... well, I don't need to crack the filter because we have the cooler lines off, so it should just drain out. I'll be back. We'll let that drain and drip. Alright, let's pop this filter out and see how it looks. We got this cap so that I don't ruin that. Ooh, that's a nasty looking filter. Ooh-wee. Time for a new one, for sure. All that needs to run back down and go away. Ooh, that thing is collapsed. Huh. Alright, let me get rid of that and see if I can't get the rest of this oil out of here. This is what comes out of it, and this insert has to come out of the filter. That filter is completely clogged. You can see how much pressure there was on it because it actually is twisting the fibers of the cartridge. For the N54, this is the cartridge you want, and you want to use a man. Don't get any other filter. You're wasting your money and your time. You'll get an O-ring kit. This is for the cap. This is for this end. This is for, I believe, the top. We'll have to get it apart first. should be able to take this and just push it out. Easier said than done. And it's covered in oil, which makes it nice and slick. Oh, it is starting to fall apart. That's not good. I have to get a new one. Ooh. You know what? I may have to just cut this off because it does not want to cooperate. Let's try cracking it down. Because that's like a epoxy. It's a hard ring right there that it sits on. If I can pop it loose, maybe it'll let go. Or we can just split it in half. Like that. Come on, let go. There we go. And there is the insert we need. There's a little O-ring right there needs to be replaced. Look at that, it's just absolutely nasty. Okay. And then this one is going to go in the middle of this. Just like that. And then we'll put the O-ring on there once we're ready to install it. I'm not messing with that right now. I just wanted to get that off, get everything together, so when we're ready to put all this back together, it's ready to go on. I'm just going to throw that in there. I'm not going to use it, just for reference for size later if the other one doesn't fit. It should fit though. And this can go in the trash. Alright. It's as good as I'm going to get it.